right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Get More Sports Weekly World Tour Soccer Podcast. I am your host, EJ Gar, and we are in the great outdoors today. We are at Bowden Park in Wappingers Falls, New York, on the Hudson River. And for any of you who know, we're check my Rainmaker feed over at EJ the Rainmaker at Twitter, and you'll see the picture of my boat, and we are hanging out on the boat today. So it's just a fantastic day. It is a beautiful day in New York, so we get the opportunity to hang out on the boat. So if you hear the birds, and if you hear the water, and if you hear all the stuff around me, it's because I'm enjoying the great outdoors, coming to you live from the Hudson River. Didn't get any better than this, I'll tell you what. So, let's get into what's going on here around, of course, not because it's soccer, because football. And, boy, what's going on in Spain is obviously a concern. It looks like they're going to suspend the last two fixtures of the campaign, and that's just obviously most unfortunate. I mean, they're calling it government interference with the Spanish FA, and it's, of course you're getting different reports as to why, and the television rights, it really is what's going on here in Spain, and it's unfortunate, of course, for the rest of the league, and they're going to even suspend the Copa del Rey final between Barcelona and Athletic Bilbao. So, I mean, we don't know who's going to end up being who strikes, and are the players going to strike? Is the union going to strike? Is management going to just say, you know what, we've had enough of you? It's obviously an ugly situation. We of course hope that they all work it out. It's not something we want to see, and it's certainly not a scar for football that no one really wants to have happen. But what can you do? You know what? I guess there's an indefinite strike, we're calling it. So after this weekend, we might not see any more Spanish football for the rest of the campaign, which is going to be tough to really deal with. It's really sad. Of course, it is week 36 in La Liga this weekend, and that would have meant that there will be 3 fixtures left in the campaign, but and there's still so much left to decide. I mean, it's just not the right time for all this to be happening. There's a lot that still needs to be decided in the Premier Division this year. We know the 2 teams up top are obviously separated by 2 points, with Real Madrid and Barcelona fighting for who's going to win the league title. Atletico Madrid sitting in 3rd place, and Valencia is right behind them in 4th place with the last Champions League qualification spot. And this is unfortunate. Again, if this ends up being the last fixture of the campaign, whether they finish it in June or whether they decide to even finish it at all, there's still so much to go on. I know there's a big meeting coming up here, and I guess we'll find out what they decide to do with the rest of the league. And I assume that everybody in the league is preparing for the last match of the campaign this year. I don't know. You have to wonder how everybody's going to be approaching what they're going to do with only one match left, because that means obviously there's only 3 points available to everybody. That makes it kind of tough. So, of course, Villarreal and Sevilla are going to be affected by this, of course. And Sevilla and Valencia are both fighting for that last 4 and 5 spots, and there's 3 points separating them. So if it comes down to the final 3 points, it doesn't look like Valencia's going to have much to worry about. Of course, they've been playing fantastic football lately as well, so I highly doubt that Sevilla was going to catch them anyway. What a job Sevilla did in the Europa League this week, taking out Fiorentina 3-0 in the first leg of the Europa League semifinals, and they did a fantastic job. That was great, and I'll have somebody going by on their boat. Hey! Can't love it, man. I love it. Let's move on here, though, because there's really not much to discuss in Spain. If this is going to be the last weekend of the season, at the Espanyol Eibar his matches today, and I personally took Espanyol because Eibar has been fading down the stretch. The whole second half of the season has been an absolute nightmare for Eibar. Nightmare for Eibar. So, I did see Espanyol. I saw Espanyol was a pick at minus 120. This guy was all over that. And, of course, there's 4 matches on Saturday with Valencia and Real Madrid being the big match of the weekend. And it's certainly a big match. Might be even bigger now with what's going on out there. Valencia, like we mentioned, only has 3 points separated from them and Sevilla for that last Champions League qualification position. And, Madrid can obviously expect Barcelona to be taking all 3 points this weekend since they have Sociedad and Favorite -3 on the handicap. Boy. -3. We're going to beat you down at Camp Nou. Yeah, obviously they're going to beat them down. I mean, what do you take from that? So there's really nothing to take from the Spanish weekend this weekend. I feel you almost feel bad for the clubs at the bottom of the table too, because Almeria and Eibar are only a point or two away from the Deportivo at the bottom of the table, and Granada's right there as well. And there's 4 teams vying for those final 2 spots that get sent down to the Segunda division. So that's tough for them. I really hope everything works out. We'll obviously try to keep you apprised as what goes on next week, and we'll see how everything works out, of course. In Italy, 4 fixtures remain in the Serie A campaign, and we have 2 big battles at the top of the table there as well. I mean, there's so much going on around Europe with only a month left in the regular season, and of course there are no playoffs. There's no such thing as playoffs when it comes to European football. You play each other once at your home field, and you play each other once on the opposition field, and that's your season. And I love that. I really wish the MLS would get into this, but I don't know why American soccer seems to feel like they need to have some kind of separate entity from what the rest of the world does, and have a playoff structure and all that. Come on, catch on, America. But, we know Juventus is obviously clear. They have nothing to gain, nothing to lose. It's over, and 4th straight Scudetto for them. And AS Roma and Lazio sit a point apart for that for the last Champions League group stage position and qualification position. And Napoli's right there. I mean, Napoli's only 4 points behind Lazio, and they're in the Europa League group stage position as it stands right now, and they should probably easily hang on to that, being 7 points clear of Fiorentina. Oh. Do we have a plane going by? Kind of love the sound of a plane going by as you're hanging out on the Hudson. Thank you. We gotta do more. Hey, we gotta do more shows on the Hudson, honey. Yeah, it's sorry, my wife's up at the front of the boat. Yeah. So Fiorentina and Sampdoria and Genoa. Inter Milan's right there as well. That makes that Inter Milan Lazio match just absolutely huge this week. I mean, Inter Milan, and who thought Inter Milan was going to make the run to get themselves back into position here? And, I think everyone thought that this might be one of the few years where we don't see an Inter Milan or AC Milan in the top 6 of the table, and looks like Inter Milan might be the club that finds a way to get there, which is it's good for Italian football. I mean, of course, they're in 8th right now, but 2 points making up on Sampdoria. And Fiorentina absolutely stinks right now. I mean, they're falling apart, as heavy as you could fall apart. I know they're coming off the win last weekend against AC Milan. But, against Cesena, which, I think I can grab anybody who's driving around here. Let me see. Hey, you want to take on Cesena next weekend with me? Yeah. People are waving their hands. So you know what? I mean, anybody can beat Cesena. They're miserable. They're obviously headed. I don't see how Cesena is going to find a way to stay up in top flight football this year. It's not going to happen. Even with Cagliari struggling the way they are, and Atalanta, they're certainly not going to catch Atalanta being 9 points back. Even though Atalanta can't seem to do anything but draw recently, but. Yeah, well, I'm glad Cesena made it up to Serie A this year, but it doesn't look like it's too promising that they're going to be staying here more than 1 year. But, the whole point was that Fiorentina just stinks. Fiorentina stinks. They're going to fall apart. They're going to lose that 5th spot. I honestly think that they're going to lose that 5th spot. I do not see how Fiorentina is going to find a way to hang on to that position. They have a tough match at Empoli this weekend, and they're barely even favored there. You can get a plus 150 on them, and Empoli's about plus 170. And the line setters don't know exactly what they want to do there. And you know what? I'll take Empoli in that pick with a draw no bet at about plus 105 or so. Okay, because I expect Empoli to find a way to beat Fiorentina. Fiorentina obviously now has a big fish to fry. We're trying to get out of Sevilla when they end up going back to back to the home leg of the Europa semifinals, of course, and it's going to be pretty tough. We'll see how that goes down. And, boy, Napoli certainly is going to take advantage of having Parma this weekend. Parma has officially given up. There is nothing left in that tank. I actually, boy, could you believe when you saw the total was 3? And the line setters don't know if they want to put which way to go with this one, -110 on the over and -110 on the under. And let me tell you which way to go here, because Napoli is going to score all 3 of those goals. Well, wow. Parma's not going to stop anyone. They, like I said, and you could see it last weekend how they came out against Cagliari, losing 4-0 to Cagliari or Cagliari, however the hell you care to say it. I call it Cagliari because that's how I see it. But that over 3 at -110 with Napoli and Parma is just absolutely gorgeous. There's going to be plenty of goals there. All right, someone driving by with a nice little dog on the boat. Hey-oh! I got the dog riled up. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm trying not to rub it in here that I'm out here on the Hudson River, but when people drive by and, I got dogs and all that kind of stuff going on, this is the best place for me to record this segment. So I'm having a lot of fun here. Of course, the Italian Serie A round 36 will match finish. Oh, it's round 35. I think it's actually round 35 this weekend. It's going to round out with Torino and Genoa on Monday, and that's to be an interesting game. I think the draw. There's a great reason to call for that draw here because it's going to end 1-1. I mean, that Torino Genoa score is going to be 1-1, and that plus 235 on that draw has certainly a ton of value at Luigi Ferrari. I think those two are definitely not going to find the net. I don't see how either one of those two are going to find a way to come up with much more than a goal, if that each. But let's move on. I certainly want to discuss some of the MLS action this weekend because there's a lot going on. I'm personally excited for the New York Red Bulls and the New York City FC matchup because I don't know who wants to call it the Hudson Derby because that's the stupidest damn name I ever heard in my life. It should be called the Big Apple Derby. So whoever calls it the Hudson Derby, I guess that's what they're officially calling it. Who came up with that? Because you're an idiot. There's no Hudson Derby. They play in Jersey. They play at Yankee Stadium. I don't understand it. It should be called the Big Apple Derby. I think the Hudson Derby. That doesn't make any sense. And anybody who's not from New York or has an idea what the layout and the structure is of the city and the Bronx and Jersey and all that, doesn't even know what the Hudson means. Everyone knows that New York City is the Big Apple, and you put 2 teams that are labeled New York and New York in their title, it's the Big Apple Derby. Whoever the schmuck is who came up with Hudson Derby should be shot, tarred, feathered, skinned. Dumbass. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. So, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Shut up. I got no problem with that at all. I just don't get it. So that's the big Sunday match this weekend, though. New York City's obviously in a ton of trouble. I mean, 1 win at this point. Obviously, Jason Christ, I assume his job is going to be in question at some point. I mean, it's got to be. You can't come into the MLS and survive in New York with this media with 1 win on the season. It's not going to happen. If they continue to fall apart like this and can keep getting poor results, it's not going to go well, and Christ is going to be out of a job. I'm telling you that right now. So, and the Red Bulls are certainly going to do everything they can to contribute towards that because, the Red Bulls certainly don't want to lose up, a 20-year history in this league and then have to try and, let this struggling young New York City club come up here. I guess David Villa is going to be back in the mix this weekend, which is certainly going to help them. I love that over. I saw that over 2.5 was about, -115 or so. I was just like, okay. The Red Bulls are going to score all 3 of these goals. And it's going to be, I at least think it's going to be 2-1 New York with the Red Bulls. So I'd certainly suggest that over 2.5 this weekend. I think there's plenty of reason to put that play on the board. Of course, the weekend's going to start on Friday with New England at Orlando City. And Orlando City at the Citrus Bowl, where they have no idea how to play football. Still no wins. It's just a miserable season for them. And I get the experience. They're banged up too, though. They certainly have. They're certainly not putting a lineup on the field that's actually worth even being in MLS. Because Kaká really doesn't do it for me. I certainly don't see him as a leader of this club. Everyone's when he came over, it's like, oh my God, what a huge influence he's going to have on this team. Listen, Kaká needs people around him to be a better player. He's not the go-to guy, and he certainly shouldn't be a center forward. Anytime they put him in that 10 position, I just stand there and go, "What are you? Are you kidding me?" He's a midfielder who needs the help of the players around him. That's what his whole career has been about. Everywhere he's been, he's had 2 or 3 other people up front with him to help, and he does not have that help right now, and he is not the go-to guy there. But New England's going to stomp them out. I saw that New England pick was about even money on the draw no bet action, just in case they do only come up with a 1-1. But 1-1, why would it only be 1-1? I personally think New England's going to find a way to absolutely stomp this team out, man. I'm telling you what, New England's going to win that game. There's no doubt about it. And the San Jose-Colorado match is also taking place tonight. And that's going to be an interesting game as well. San Jose, I saw in San Jose was plus half, because Colorado can't do anything but draw. 6 draws. I mean, they opened the season with 3 draws, and now they played 3 straight draws again after a couple of interesting games at the 4-0 with Dallas and all that. But now all of a sudden they just can't play. San Jose's kind of getting their stuff together here a little bit, and I saw that plus half on San Jose. Let them draw. Let them draw all they want. When you have a plus half on the road team and it's 1-1 in the final score, you just cashed your ticket. I'll tell you what. Did you see Montreal finally is playing again? It's so weird to see when you look at the Eastern Conference standings. You see Montreal with 4 games played on the year. Everybody else has 8, 9, 10 games played. Wow. They've been so busy with Champions League and the Canadian Championships as well, which they just beat Toronto 1-0 the other day. And, they're going to be, nice to see Toronto actually getting back home as well. They're going to be reopening their BMO field. And that's going to be an interesting match with Houston. I think that's another over, waiting to happen, too. Tyler Derrick, that defense is certainly not helping Tyler Derrick's in goal right now for Houston. Obviously, they gave up 4 goals twice in the last couple of outings. And, Toronto at home is going to be riled up in that roster. Obviously, we know that Toronto roster is pretty damn stout. So I see Toronto certainly winning that game at home. They're only about minus 115 or so to win that game. And at over 2.5, close to about even money or so. And, okay. So I think that's going to be a 2-1 match, no doubt about it. And I think the best line of the weekend comes at Dallas. Because Dallas is at home, and you're looking at like a plus 140 or a plus 150, depending on your book and the time you get to play in. And why? What LA Galaxy on the road? Yeah. Feel free to look at the LA Galaxy results when they are not at StubHub Center, because they stink. I mean, they stink. And everyone's still banged up over there with the team. You saw last weekend when they had to let Juninho take that penalty kick at the end of the game. What the hell is Juninho doing taking a penalty kick with a game on the line? Juninho, when you can't put anybody on the line other than him to secure 3 points in extra time, you have got to be kidding me. LA is in big trouble. And to see Dallas a plus 140 or a plus 150 again, like I said, put that on your board, please. My God, the Galaxy away from home. Everyone still has that, they're the Galaxy. They just won the championship last year. Blah, 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 blah. Give me a break. LA's done. So, feel free to take Dallas there. I just love it. I absolutely love it. Another interesting match is Sporting Kansas City, headed to the nation's capital, taking on DC United, too. DC United, did you see the DC United pick in that draw no bet handicap type of play was only minus 115 or minus 120 for DC to come out of there with some type of result? They haven't lost at home in forever. I mean, Kansas City is certainly not going to be the team to walk into DC United and take 3 points. Not going to happen, people. I'm telling you, let me say it again. Not going to happen. Put that DC United pick, draw no bet on your board this weekend, because DC United is not losing to Kansas City. If they come up with a 1-1 result, you know what happens? Nothing. You get your money back, and you live to bet another day. And we love that kind of stuff. So, those are my favorite kind of bets to make, especially when you get a reasonable line. You don't always get a reasonable line when you take a pick on a home team. Usually you have to pay about $40, $50 in juice to get those kind of plays. And to see minus 120 or minus 115, please. I mean, are you serious? I absolutely love it. But you know what? We got a few minutes here. Let's discuss some Bundesliga action. course, we all know that it's over. Bayern Munich, and that 3-0 disaster that they had to play at Camp Nou the other day in Champions League. They are lucky they clinched it because they're not putting the team on the field that they certainly want to have out there right now. And then the whole controversy with Mueller at the end of that game, man, are we going to see Thomas Mueller play again? I mean, the way he came off that field was just like, oh boy. Yeah, I hate to use the word something hitting the fan, but the brown stuff that hits the fan that smells like poo-poo. Yeah, that's the one. And there's a lot of turmoil going on in Bayern right now. That injury to Robin obviously was a bad time. He finally gets on the pitch and only lasts about 15 minutes. That was unfortunate as well. But, of course, the battle comes in the rest of the Champions League and the rest of the top of the table because Wolfsburg, Mönchengladbach, and Leverkusen are only 4 points separated from those 3 Champions League spots, and that's going to be pretty interesting to see who comes up with those with that spot. Wolfsburg's obviously playing pretty poorly right now. I mean, they just can't seem to find a win lately with 2 draws and a loss to that Mönchengladbach about a week and a half ago, and that's, you know what, something tells me that Gladbach is going to find a way to steal that spot from Wolfsburg. I mean, you cannot afford to struggle right now, and that defense over there has been tremendous for Gladbach. I mean, 23 goals scored? 23 goals allowed this year? Really? Tremendous. I mean, that's how you play football in Germany. When you can play in Bundesliga and keep through 31 matches only hold your opponents to 23 goals allowed, that's tremendous. We all know that's a pretty high-scoring league. You can see plenty of overs happening in Germany. So to see Gladbach with that 23 goals, that's tremendous. But and of course Schalke and Augsburg. What is Augsburg doing? You know they're going to lose that spot. They're going to lose that spot. Now, I do not see Augsburg finding a way of keeping that 6th position that's going to come with the Europa League qualifying. It's just they're going to lose it. One of these 3 teams, but obviously Dortmund's playing great. They're going to have to be moving on to the new coach here pretty quick. But you know that they want to come out strong. I mean, there's no doubt that Dortmund is going to want to leave that situation with Jurgen Klopp stepping down this year. Dortmund, they still have a big goal to chase. There's only 3 points to make up on Augsburg, and they have 2 points, of course, to make up on Werder Bremen as well. And Hoffenheim is right there in the mix with them as well. And you know what? I like that total over 3-2. Berlin and Dortmund are certainly going to combine for 3 goals this weekend. I think 3 goals. 3 goals! Yeah. Love it. Especially a plus 115, too. They're giving away that total. Okay. You want to give me? I would move that. The 2.5 is like minus 140, minus 135 or something. Don't even bother with that. Why would you pay $35 to see a 2-1 game when it's going to be 2-1 at the very worst? Anyway, you know what? I'd rather see everybody move that line to 3, a straight 3, and get about plus 115 for your troubles there, because there's a lot more value in a 2-1 result there with that kind of a line. Plus 115 to hope that 4th goal comes, because again, if it's 2-1, you get your money back and you have a plus 115 on the board. No harm, no foul. If 2-1's the best they can do, get your money back and live to see another day. And again, I love that kind of stuff. Any way you can push a line up to get some kind of a better value, gotta take advantage of it. For those of you who don't know, I mean, this handicapping thing, I've been the rainmaker since 2010 when I was over at DomBest.com shooting their. I shot 21 videos for DomBest.com and went 17-4. Yeah, this handicapping thing. There's one thing I've been dying to do since we came on here over at Get More Sports World Tour Soccer Podcast, and I haven't used my recording that I've had here sitting here for. I have to do it. I hope you're all prepared, because when it comes to handicapping, you and now Rainmaker. And the crash, boom. Got to love it. So, yeah, I haven't got a chance to use that all year. And, hey, you know what? Hopefully some of you have been taking the advice that we've been throwing around on the show here. I personally love doing that kind of stuff. Just what we do. But let's take some time. I want to take some time still also to run over to England real quick, because there's some interesting matches going on over here, too. Manchester United is falling apart. I mean, falling apart. To see this over 2.5 and plus 110, there's some certain value there. Crystal Palace is certainly not going to stop Man U from getting back on track. I personally predict Man U to walk in there and absolutely pound Crystal Palace this weekend. I know the three match skid is certainly a concern for most people out there, but these are the kind of matches where Man U should definitely be able to get back on track. The Palace certainly is not going to stop them from scoring. What was the match? The match of the week this week in England has got to be that Swansea-Arsenal match. Especially the fact that it's on a Monday and it's the only game that's being played on that day. So all eyes are going to be on that. I was really surprised to see a minus 110 in either direction on this total as well. I think this is an easy overweight to happen. Who's going to stop who? Because Swansea's not going to stop Arsenal. You really? Yeah. 2-1 Arsenal. Okay. Do you not just sit there and envision a final score with Swansea and Arsenal saying, yeah, it sounds about a 2-1 match waiting to happen? I would say, yeah, I agree. So to see that total of 3 at about minus 110, I'm taking that play. I personally think someone's going to find a way to find that fourth goal. Swansea can't afford to sit back and just say, you know what, 2-1's fine with us. We're not going to go out and try and get that second goal to equalize, because they need a point as bad as anybody. The whole table in Premier League is obviously wide open as well, obviously outside of Chelsea, but there's a lot going on there, and Swansea certainly needs these 3 points. You're talking about 5 points away from Tottenham, who are not playing well at all. Southampton is not playing well at all. And granted, that's a huge, making up those 5 points and seeing the two clubs above them fall apart is obviously going to be a tough uphill battle for Swansea. And we know Arsenal, they need these 3 points as bad as anybody. Who tied with Manchester City with the 70 points. But the same token, you know what? They're already in Champions League position for group stage. They just have to keep Manchester United at bay, which I honestly, like we mentioned, I think Man U is going to find a way to grab these 3 points against Crystal Palace. So Arsenal's going to need these 3 points, and Manchester City obviously has a cupcake match this weekend as well. I don't see how they're going to lose that match either. Queen's Park coming to City, big trouble. So, Manchester City's what, -2 on the handicap? Okay. So, all right, you know what? Let's get out of here. I hope you enjoyed the outdoors today. I hope none of the background noises were too out of control for anybody, but I had to do it. I'm on the boat, and I wanted to get everything again. If you, like I said, you check my Rainmaker feed over, EJ the Rainmaker on Twitter, you'll see my boat. That's my boat. It's the SS Rainmaker. I don't know how many people can actually have a boat called the Rainmaker, but I'm lucky enough to have this boat, and life is good. So, again, I'm sorry. Of course, the plays came out late this weekend because I've had some stuff going on this week. It was just so busy. I wasn't able to do the show a little bit earlier like we normally do, but we'll be back to normal next weekend, of course. And again, I wish everybody good luck with a couple of plays that we handed out this weekend. We're certainly going to get into the discussion about what happens with Spain next week, because that's big. That's big. If they end up canceling the last 2 weekends of the season, oh, man. I can't envision it happening. I really don't. I just, it's all just a way to keep the Spanish football in the news, and there's always some kind of major controversy. We saw it with Real Madrid when they were talking about letting Ancelotti go, and you know what? You got to create something that gets people talking, and I think this is the thing that they created. So I certainly don't think it's going to come to fruition. I think they're certainly going to finish out the season, and they're going to play that last Copa del Rey finals match as well with Bilbao and Barcelona. So, all right, let's get out of here. I can't blow my big horn on the boat. I don't want to piss everybody off because I'm actually close to land here, but we will leave you with the sound of the vuvuzela.